How's it going, everyone? It's Baiken here, bringing you another Guilty Gear Strive video. Today, we're going to be talking about Baiken. We're going to be doing my day one Baiken overview, going over her normals, specials, and supers, along with a few combos to get you started with this character. So let's go ahead and get started talking everything you need to know about Baiken. First thing we're going to talk about for Baiken is going to be your unique mechanic, the tether. So this is going to bind you and your opponent together and change the way gravity actually works when you start jumping around and doing combos. This is also going to affect it for your opponent as well. So it's a double-edged sword because your opponent can actually manipulate and use it to their advantage. Now, there's two ways you can actually have this tether on, and this is going to be through this special move right here, which is going to be your 4236 series, your 41236S. This can be done on hit and block, or you can actually do it from your throw. Now, the cool thing about the throw version is you don't actually have to have it happen on your throw. So if you don't want it to actually happen, say if you're fighting like a Potemkin and you just want to go for a throw and you don't want to actually tether them, you can hold the button and then it actually won't keep the tether on her. Now, talking about Baiken's normal, starting off with her P normals, her 5P is going to be pretty unique in the aspect that it actually is pretty low. So it actually has the ability to hit crouchers. You can use this for your crouch confirms like this. So she actually has crouch confirms from this normal. Her 2P is also just going to be a standard 2P as well. Nothing too crazy from there. But you can also do crouch confirms from this as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, her 6P is going to be a pretty good 6P. Just in the fact that it actually hits pretty high. And it has, I feel like, pretty good recovery on it as well. So not too bad there. But also because of the damage opportunity. So because she has a super that can actually knock the opponent back into her, she actually get pretty good damage like this. As such, you can see the damage is pretty ridiculous for a 6P confirm just because of how her super worked, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, talking about Baiken's K normal, starting off with her 5K, this button I feel like is absolutely ridiculous as far as how it works. So it moves forward, but also lowers her hurt box from where her leg is. Because she left her leg up, there's actually no hurt box there, much like how Milia's work. So you can see I'm pressing the button and Kai just can't hit me with his 2S, but I can hit him because it actually hits pretty low. So it not only goes over things, but it also hits pretty low. But on top of this, it also hits pretty high. So it can actually anti-air something like Kai's flip pretty reliably, which a lot of characters don't have normals that actually hits this pretty well like this. Like usually he'll be able to like hop over their normal from like a certain distance, but this move is pretty reliably able to actually just punish Kai for doing flip. So it not only hits pretty low to where it can hit Kai's 2S, but it also just hits pretty high. And of course, it has that ability to lessen her hurt box because her leg is up in the air. Now, her 2K is going to be a standard 2K. Nothing really crazy there. It leads into her 2D, but you can also go into 6K for combos on crouching opponents as well. So it's a standard 2K. Nothing really crazy there. But her 6K is where this character is going to shine for real. Just because, once again, it's another normal like her 5K, where it's going to move her forward and have her leg up in the air. But it moves her forward really well. And of course, the counter hit is going to be a medium starter. So this is going to be very good for people that like to like run up 2K. As you can see, Kai is trying to run up 2K. You're going to be able to whip punish stuff like this and fish for counter hits pretty reliably and get some pretty good damage if you actually hit your opponent from something like this. So keep this in mind. This tool is very good for dealing with people that are going for lows and you want to basically go over their lows with something like this. So this is going to be a very good tool for that situation. Now, Baiken slash buttons are also going to be pretty good as far as the range that they play and the things that they can actually do. So her standing far slash is going to be a nice poke. This isn't going to be a disjoint or anything, but on counter hits, you could get some pretty good confirms off this and off of crouching. So the same confirm you could get on a counter hit, you could get on crouching. So if the opponent is crouching, you can actually go from this into 2H because of how far her 2H goes, and you get pretty good damage on something like this. You can always go into this if your opponent is crouching and get that. Also with her 2S, so her 2S is also going to be this nice chain move. Now this move isn't going to be disjoint or anything, but it also leads to the same situation. So your opponent is crouching or you actually get a counter hit, you can do that. Now the one thing about this chain move is it actually doesn't go as low as it looks. So if we take Kai's 2S, for example, here again, you'll see it actually beats this pretty reliably just because of how Kai's 2S works. It is pretty low to the ground, but there's really not much for them to hit here. As you can see, Baiken's thing is sort of up in the air a bit, but it actually hits really low. So things that get pretty low down to the ground, they won't be able to hit you very well, but you'll be able to hit them pretty well. The only time they'll really be able to hit you if they whiff punish you, but 9 times out of 10 you'll be hitting them because there's really nothing for them to hit, but you could hit them. Now Baiken's heavy buttons is where this character is really going to shine, because this is where her disjoint's at. So I feel like this is the range where she's going to want to play sometimes, especially if she wants to play counter pokish, which I think they call her all arounder, and I do feel like she is a character that can definitely play in majority of playstyles. So this is a playstyle you could definitely play with this character, because her 5H and 6H is going to have disjointed properties on them. So if we take Kai, for example, to do this far slash, we can sit at this range and counter poke him pretty well with this button. As you can see, this is going to be something that you can do pretty well, and then get a pretty decent confirm off of, just like that. Now if you're closer, you're gonna actually get the other tether and actually get some more damage. It's a little bit harder to do, but you can definitely do it. Now the 2H is going to be a button that actually slides in, and it actually low profiles a little bit later into the move. So if I can showcase that with Kai's far side, as you can see, you can sort of go under the move. It's not something you would do reliably, but it is something that can happen. It's not something I would aim for just because of how the move works. It takes a little bit while for that to happen, but if you do happen to find it, that is going to be something. Now this is something that's going to be good for counter hit fishing. So if you get close slash, you can go into this move, or you could go into your 6H, which we're about to talk about as well, or you could go into that 5H we were talking about. These are all going to be good counter hits. So 6H is going to be another one that you can actually use from this poke right here, and you'll get a really big affirm, and this really guarantees always into that tether that we were just talking about. So if you hit this move, you're pretty much guaranteed this tether, and you can do tether combos into whatever you want after that. So you get some pretty nice damage from the tether, and you get a setup right afterwards. So it's really good. Once again, playing at that range of being able to counter poke with this 6H and 5H is going to be really good with this character. And sometimes you could do the sweep with this, but you don't necessarily have to rely on the sweep, because you're playing at this range. You can always get the 5 slash into the 2H, or the 2S into the 2H, which will always combo on crouching opponents for you still. Now with everything we just talked about for Baiken's ground approach so far, it would make you think that her air approach isn't really that good, but you would be highly mistaken. This character actually has some pretty good air games. Now the two moves I really don't use too much in the air is going to be her JP and her JK. They do have a few uses, but not really. Your JP is obviously going to be your fastest air check, and your JK is going to be used if you're trying to like do, I believe, like rising button. This is the best way to go. JP if you really want like the fastest, but JK is going to be your best thing, because you can actually get combo damage opportunities from JK into JS. You can actually get combo damage opportunities from those. So once again, I will have combos pinned below from my video. So my video link will be down in the description below. You guys can check that out. We're going to go over a few combos at the end though, so we guys can get you started. But the full list of combos will be pinned from the actual video that I made recently. Now talking about her prominent air buttons, her JS is going to be definitely the one that you're going to be using a lot. This is going to be your best air to ground approach, really fast, very far. Now you would think because you're hitting so high up with this move and how far, you really wouldn't be able to do anything, but no. With this move, you can actually go into her J23 6S and actually pick it up for a combo. But if you delay it just enough, you can actually pick it up for a combo once you land to the ground because of how plus it is. So this means if your opponent actually blocks your approach, this into this, even if they block, which is a double overhead by the way, then you are still plus in the situation and get to continue your pressure how you see fit. So if you're at this distance right here and you jump in with instant air dash, you can still do this and go for a combo just like that. So you still have combo damage opportunities that you can actually go for, which is very nice indeed. So very good button for that. Now her JH is going to be a good button as far as how active it is. So this button is very active for a sense. It's not really going to be the button you're going to jump in the most at, but if you are at trying to get like a certain height, or you want to like, you know, if you are super jumping in or something like that and you want to get a button that can have a lot of active frames, this is the button to go to. This button is very active. You can't really miss it. You can actually go up rising with it and it will still hit crouching opponents actually. So very good button in that sense. Now her JD is going to be your air disjoint button, and this button actually does wall bounces near the corner. So just to showcase one of those for you, just like that. So it basically allows you to wall bounce and extend the combo damage opportunity pretty well, and actually allows you to get a wall break as well into the positive bonus. So very nice extension from the JDs. If you're very close to the corner, you can actually use it as well from there and actually pull them to the corner because the wall bounce and you air dash, so you can actually get a wall bounce from there and also into a potential wall break. So near the corner is also good, and in the corner is very good. Now, talking about Baiken special moves, starting off with the tatami mat. Now, this move is going to be very good on the air and ground. This move is going to be safe on block. I believe it's like probably like -3 or something like that. So it's not going to be plus. You can make it plus if you hit with it very late. So situations like this, you can actually make plus. So this is a situation where you do it as a meaty and you can make it plus off of like sweep knockdowns, or if you're like coming in with it from the air like this. So instant air dash, tatami mat will definitely be plus. Now, unfortunately, you can't do instant air dash back tatami mat. I don't know why you can't do this in this game. So you have to like stay in the air a little bit longer, like sort of. You have to like almost get like max jump height in order to get it. So I guess they didn't want you to be able to like do it very well retreating in this game. I don't know why. But yeah, it just doesn't work very well going backwards. Now, if you want to go backwards with it, you can if you're tethered, because this will actually pull you higher than normal and actually allow you to create a safe jump. So this is a safe jump opportunity you could do. You can do a bunch of things with this too. You can actually TK it and go to the other side, or you can stay on the same side like that. If I want to TK it and go to the other side, it looks something like this. So you can do a crazy bunch of different things with it. Once you're actually tethered to your opponent, you can manipulate your movement in different ways and get like some nice left-right mix-ups and stuff from the actual tethered mat. Now, talking about the mat itself, is actually a projectile base. I don't recommend you doing this, but it can technically dispel projectiles if you want to try to do it. It's a little bit wonky, I find it to be. It's not as good as like just a regular projectile, but if you find yourself able to react, you can actually dispel projectiles like this. So if you don't want to deal with them, this is the way to do it, because your counter is not going to do it, because counter in this game only deals with actual physical attacks and doesn't deal with that. So talking about the counter itself now, the counter is going to be able to beat any physical attack as long as it's not a throw, or as long as is not a projectile. Now, putting my inputs on just for a second here, when you RC, when you're actually doing this, you'll get a purple RC, and you can actually OS this because you actually can't get the RC during the animation. So just how like throws were previously before they got patched, if you actually hit this right, you see I'm mashing RC and nothing comes out during the actual animation. So if I were to mistime it, say something like this, I'll be okay, and I'll be able to see the situation and that potentially punish my opponent for trying to come in on me. So you can always do this if you have 50 meter. You press the counter and just press the RC button, and if you hit the counter, you won't get the RC. But if you miss the counter, you'll get the RC and potentially save yourself from that counter hit and potentially punish your opponent. Now, talking about Baiken's tether and grapple hook. So the tether is actually going to be, I believe, even on block. So we do the jump test here. I believe it's actually even on block for the characters. When Baiken and them both jump at the same time, they're actually jumping at the same time. So that is my assumption, that this is actually going to be an even move. It doesn't seem like it's plus from everything that I tested. It's a bunch of clashing between both of the same characters. So I believe this is even on block, but keep in mind the actual downside to if you actually do this on block, your opponent can potentially use this and not you. So just keep that in mind when you're actually using this. It does work on hit on block to actually get the tether. Now, the grappling hook, which is going to be 4-1-2-3-6-H, which is going to be half circle forward H. This is going to be the grapple hook. This is going to be a very good tool actually for whiff punishing things. Believe it or not, this actually doesn't have a hurt box inside of it. So if Kai is out here trying to like space you out with like 5H and like he whiffs, there's nothing for him to hit, but you can whiff punish him and actually get a pretty decent combo, especially if you're willing to RC it. You can yeah, get a pretty good combo on that. So keep that in mind, that you can actually use this as a like whiff punish or like footsie tool. It's actually pretty good for that. Also, this move is also going to be a frame trap if you do the second hit, and the second hit actually is not punishable, even though the animation would believe you to be. As you can see, the move is not punishable despite the animation. I'm using my P normals, and neither one of them can actually punish the normal. So like I said, despite the animation, you actually can't punish this. So you actually just get a frame trap, which gives you a hard knockdown on hit if you actually do the HH. And you actually are safe on block if it actually just get blocked. So just keep that in mind. It's actually a pretty safe ender, and is a pretty good tool to use in neutral when you're actually spacing out your opponents because there's nothing for them to actually hit. And the last move to talk about is TK Yozansen, which is going to be Air 236S in the air. Now, once again, this move is going to be an overhead, and if you do it while coming down, is actually plus. So if you do it while coming down, you can actually combo it like that. So keep in mind, like that, it can actually combo. It actually does have a backwards hitbox too, so if you actually cross your opponent up, you can actually get that to happen. Now, I don't know if you can actually get confirms off of it. This isn't really something that I've been testing as far as like trying to hit with it from behind, but I do know if it hits from behind, in front, and it actually is coming downwards, you can actually pick it up for confirms, such as that, or just basically like this as well. Now, also, if it's blocked, because it is going to be able to give you combos, that basically means like it's plus enough. So if they block it, is also plus, as long as you're coming down. If you're going up with it like this, I do believe you're plus, but you're close enough to where the opponent can throw you. So I don't recommend going for this just randomly without having meter or without coming downwards, because if opponent knows that you're close enough, any button that you try to press out can get thrown, and because it's a throw, that means your counter won't work either. So I definitely don't recommend trying to go for this without meter or without being able to combo it from coming downwards. Just keep that in mind. And finally, talking about Baiken super. Now, her projectile super is going to be one of the best in the game. It's very fast and very explosive in a single hit. So comparing it to Ramathal super that does multiple hits, you can actually get this thing out pretty fast. And even though you'll trade, look at the damage difference that you guys will take. Let's just showcase it one more time. Look at the damage difference of what Baiken takes compared to Ramathal's. Very big difference, right? It goes through a lot of projectiles. It has very good durability, and it just shreds through things. It's extremely fast. It's very good for whiff punishing. It can punish just about any projectile that you see on the screen that your opponent is throwing. Whether it be like, even if it's a gun flame from Soul, or if it's a stun edge from Kai, just regular. If they don't have meter and you do, that is a punish for you if you can react to it in time. So this super is very good for whiff punishing, stuff like that, and it's even good for whiff punishing normal. So if you see a normal whiff from far away and you don't think you got a button in time, you have a super. Is a very fast super to make sure that you get that punish. So if it's around a winning situation and you have meter for that, definitely don't hesitate to get that whiff punish, because it's extremely fast super. And lastly, Baiken Sword super, which is going to be 236S. This is going to be a reversal super and your damaging super. So anytime you get hit with the super, you want to hit with this super. This is going to be your wall break super you want to go and hit with. This is going to be a super you want to end combos with if you can, if you're close enough. It's just going to be the super you're going to do for those situations, as well as your reversal. So if there is a block string that the opponent is doing and you see a gap, like say something like this, you can reversal out with this super. This is going to be a super you're going to want to use in these types of situations. So just keep that in mind. Reversal and most damaging super that you have. Also, forgot to mention that the gun super can also be done in the air. This is going to be good for certain combos to wall break from the air, and also not wall break if you delay it. It can also be used in combos from, say, something like dust. So you could do something like this, for example. So you get a lot of damage from a dust combo because you can actually super in it. So really crazy. This, like I said, this super got a lot of utility when it comes to it. So definitely keep this super in mind. And finally, now that we talked about Baiken's normals, specials, and supers, it's finally time to talk about a few Baiken combos to get you started so you can hop online and start having some fun.
Relax, you'll live.
And that's pretty much it for our day one overview for Baiken. Like I stated before, if you want more of the combos, they will be in the pin section down below from the previous video that I actually had. So just click the link and it will take you to the video of all the combos that I made previously for Baiken that you can watch to the fullest and actually understand all the combo routes and opportunities that this character has for damage. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video useful. As always, if you like anything I had to say, drop me a like, I really appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow me on my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Baiken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.